Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about Winter Olympics and India boycotting Winter Olympics, the reasons behind, and also the editorial provides a background information. Initially, India wanted to participate, but at the 11th hour, it decided to boycott. What are the reasons behind that? It's all about Winter Olympics. And whatever I'm going to say, it is purely from the editorial point of view. Always remember, we are here for editorial analysis, not to express personal opinions. Besides this editorial analysis, today you're going to work on errors, phrase replacement, as usual, editorial words. Today, for the first time, I have brought cloze test, and I have never brought one of the reasons for that. It is lengthy and very difficult to present the information on a particular slide. But today, and it takes a lot of time, you have to answer 10 questions. Today, I thought, why not give it a try? We'll see how it goes. If it works out, I would like to bring cloze test regularly. That is also an important exam topic and very useful. You guys will get benefited in the long run. Now, let us go to the editorial. Before that, what are the words from this editorial? Not too many words. On the eve of, this is an idiomatic expression, an important expression. Usually, before a presentation, before a speech, we say on the eve of. It means on the day before an important event or during the period of time just before it. Before starting a particular function or a program, we say on the eve of. Another meaning of on the eve of, it means on the occasion of. An important expression, relay. It has got two or three meanings in this context because this editorial is all about Winter Olympics, sports backdrop. A group of people or animals, not exactly animals, but a group of people engaged in a task or activity for a period of time and then replaced by a similar group. First, some people go, after that, another team goes, carries forward. That is known as a relay. Subsequently, after a particular thing has happened or afterwards, you can also think of the word later. Standoff, we have got many a time. A deadlock between two equally matched opponents in a dispute or conflict. Standoff along the line of control between India and China. Calculus, one thing it's a term that goes with a particular subject, but in this context, it means a particular method or system of calculation or reasoning. Allies, usually it is used at the time of the war. It is a war term. A state, here state means a country, a sovereign country, formally cooperating with another for a military or other purpose. Vocational, usually it takes the word courses, vocational courses relating to an occupation or employment. Denounce is an important word. Publicly declared to be wrong or evil. Condemn someone or something publicly. Denounce. Albeit another important word, it means though. Inherently, in a permanent, essential, or characteristic way. I think you got this word yesterday or day before yesterday. Inherently means what? Part of someone's personality, or it is something like essential, intrinsic, inherent, inbuilt. All these words you have to think of. This is a new word we have got for the first time, burnishing. Enhance or perfect something such as a reputation or a skill. In this context, the reputation of a particular country. Breakout is a phrasal verb. It means what? To start suddenly. But here we have outbreak. It is used as a noun, a sudden occurrence of something unwelcome, such as war or disease. Breakout also goes with war, clashes, disease, fire, all these things. Usually, this word underlying takes a principle, underlying reasons, underlying principle means basic or fundamental. Motto, obviously, this editorial is all about Olympics. Motto, a short sentence or phrase chosen as encapsulating the beliefs or ideals of an individual, family, or institution. Motto of the Olympics. Laudable, another important word, of an action, idea, or aim, deserving praise and commendation. Laudable, praiseworthy, laudable efforts, we say. Now, let us go to this editorial. As I said, this editorial is all about a Winter Olympics starting today from Feb 4th to 20th, and India boycotting the Winter Olympics. It's all about that, the reasons behind. How does it start? Winter is here. Now, when you look at this, you may wonder, now winter is almost over, summer is about to approach. How come winter is here? It means Winter Olympics are here. In this context, you have to take it as, because the editorial talks about Winter Olympics, it talks about Winter Olympics are here. Winter is here. Now, what is the main idea of this editorial? The games in China have taken on political significance domestically and globally. And somewhere the editorial also talks about the Olympics. And usually, when it comes to the Olympics, it takes a political significance not only domestically but also globally. And it provides information regarding that. The games in China, here the Winter Games, the Winter Olympics in China have taken on political significance. Significance means importance domestically and globally. On the occasion of just before the Winter Olympics, on the eve of the opening of the Winter Olympics in Beijing on Friday, India announced a diplomatic boycott of the Games. Here there is one word, diplomatic boycott, not complete boycott, diplomatic boycott. And here, if you look at this sentence, all these words they provide the introduction. Here there is no finite verb, only a non finite verb. On the eve of the opening of the Winter Olympics in Beijing on Friday, then what is the actual subject? India announced what? A diplomatic boycott of the games. So it talks about on the occasion of on the event of the Winter Olympics, India announced made a special announcement. Announced what? A diplomatic boycott of the games. That means the Winter Olympics. Diplomatic boycott. So it has a different connotation altogether. Not complete boycott, diplomatic boycott. That you have to catch. The Ministry of External Affairs said no Indian official will be present at the opening or closing ceremonies of the Games, which run from February 4th to 20th. Here, yesterday, someone asked, so one question we got, I said it is between and not, and we use from to. Then he asked, sir, why not from instead of between and why not from to? When you talk about the time, the dates, we use from this time to this time, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We don't use usually between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. We talk about the time from to. But when do we use between and end? You want to talk about the action, some action during a particular time period, then you say between this date and this date, it is going to happen. So yesterday the question talks about that particular context. Based on that, I said between and not from to. But here it talks about the time, the dates from February 4th to 20th. It talks about the dates. The Ministry of External Affairs said no Indian official will be present. Here it talks about the future at the opening or closing ceremonies of the Games, which run from February 4th to 20th. Easy to understand. This editorial is not at all difficult to comprehend. Only a few words may trouble here and there. Now it talks about the decision. What is the reason for boycotting the? Initially, India wanted to participate. At the 11th hour, India decided not to participate. What could be the reason? It talks about that. The decision for an official boycott of the games. Then suddenly it provides information regarding a particular athlete. A lone Indian athlete who qualified, skier Arif Khan, will still take part in both the games and in the opening ceremony, along with support staff. Followed China's move this week to choose a PLA commander as one of the participants of the traditional torch relay. This may trouble in the sense you may wonder what is a subject, what is a verb. This is like providing additional information. The main idea the sentence talks about the decision for an official boycott of the games followed China's move. Continuation of that. So no need to get confused. It talks about the decision for an official boycott of the games followed China's move this week to choose a PLA commander as one of the participants of the traditional torch relay. Usually, when it comes to the Olympics, here when it comes to the Olympics, we talk about the torch relay. From one place to another place, a particular person or a particular team carries the Olympic torch, and from a particular point, another person, another team may carry the Olympic torch. It is known as relay. There is one important word over here. Relay means what? A group of people or animals are engaged in a task or activity for a period of time and then replaced by a similar group. So this is the main reason. What is the main reason for boycotting diplomatically? That is the reason why official boycott, not complete boycott, official boycott. The reason for that, China's move this week to choose a PLA commander as one of the participants of the traditional torch relay. And to say that it is only diplomatic boycott, official boycott, the editorial provides one example where a lone Indian athlete is going to participate. A lone Indian athlete who qualified, skier Arif Khan. This editorial is all about a Winter Olympics. Usually, Winter Olympics, you come across sports like skiing, ice skating, and whatever goes with ice and related to that, snow. A lone Indian athlete who qualified, skier Arif Khan, will still take part in both the games and in the opening ceremony along with support staff. The commander was involved. So why India decided not to participate or boycott diplomatically? This commander now it provides actual reason for boycotting. The commander was involved in the June 15, 2020 clash in the Galwan Valley. He was involved in that clash. He was subsequently means what? Afterwards, later, given military honors by Beijing. The Ministry of External Affairs said the commander's participation in the torch relay was regrettable. The bone of contention or the apple of discord, this particular move, what is that move? China decided to choose a PLA commander as one of the participants of the traditional torch relay. A particular PLA commander does not make any impact, but this particular PLA commander was involved in the June 15, 2020 clash in Galwan Valley. That is one thing. Not only that, something like adding fuel to the fire, he was subsequently given military honors by Beijing. A person who was given military honors by Beijing for his participation in the clash on in the June 15, 2020 clash, definitely for India it is not acceptable. Based on that, the Ministry of External Affairs said the commander's participation in the torch relay was regrettable, not acceptable, and it is something regrettable. Now it provides the background information. Until this week, initially, India wanted to participate, so it provides a background information. Until this week, New Delhi was considering having its top diplomat in Beijing attend the games. That means what? India did not want to boycott diplomatically. Until this week, New Delhi was considering having its top diplomat in Beijing attend the games. Only in November, it goes further back. Only in November, India joined Russia in expressing support for the games following a meeting of the foreign ministers of Russia, India, and China. So it talks about there was a meeting, and in that meeting, India expressed a support for the games. And this meeting, following a meeting of the foreign ministers of Russia, India, and China. If India dealing with its own long list of problems with China and a continuing standoff along the line of actual control, had initially planned to not involve itself in the politics surrounding the games, Beijing's torch relay changed that calculus. Initially, India did not want to involve in the politics related to the games or surrounding the games, in spite of the fact that there are so many problems, a long list of problems with China. And the most important thing we all know, a continuing standoff along the line of actual control, had initially planned to not involve itself in the politics surrounding the games. But what happened, unfortunately, Beijing's torch relay changed that calculus. There's another important word over here, calculus, means what? A particular method or system of calculation or reasoning. The broader context, there's something more underlying reasons. The broader context of the selection of the PLA commander is an ongoing campaign by China to publicize, galvan, and highlight the bravery of PLA troops. So, this is something definitely not acceptable for India. It looks like one particular commander being participating in the torch relay. What is a big deal? It is not like that. There is something more than what it looks like. It is like the tip of an iceberg, you can say. The broader context, this sentence provides that backdrop or the implications. The broader context of the selection of the PLA commander is an ongoing campaign by China to publicize, galvan, and highlight the bravery of PLA troops. Definitely, that is not acceptable for India. India's statement of support for the Games in November had come amid, we got this word yesterday, the US and its allies announcing a diplomatic boycott because of rights violations in Xinjiang, where minority Uyghurs have been sent to re education camps. November, what happened? The US and its allies, ally, that's an important word, but usually it goes with, it is used at the time of the war. A state formally cooperating with another for a military or other purpose. In November, this particular India statement of support for the games in November had come in the middle of, amid means in the middle of, you got yesterday, the US and its allies announcing a diplomatic boycott. And what is the reason for their diplomatic boycott, the US and its allies? Because of rights violations in Xinjiang, that's a particular province in China, where minority Uyghurs have been sent to re education camps. China first denied the existence of the camps, but later said they were for vocational training. Another word, vocational, related to employment or occupation. Usually we use the term or the expression vocational courses. China denounced a diplomatic boycott by around a dozen countries. When the US and its allies, perhaps the number a dozen, announced a diplomatic boycott, China denounced the diplomatic boycott. Denounce, publicly declared to be wrong or evil, or publicly condemn, which India has now joined, albeit for different reasons, as politicizing the games. Now, initially, India did not join the diplomatic boycott. Now, India has joined, but albeit another important word, it means though, for different reasons. India's reasons are different, the US and its allies' reasons are different. Politicizing the games. Now, the games are being politicized. Based on that, India decided to go in for diplomatic boycott. It is another matter that Olympic Games, through history, have been inherently political events. This sentence talks about the true nature of the Olympics. It says, Olympics, the Olympic Games, through history, have been inherently political events. That means always politicized. Inherent, an important word, in a permanent, essential, or characteristic way. Already you got, I think you got this word yesterday or day before yesterday. Inherent means inbuilt, intrinsic. For host nations, a particular country hosts the event. For host nations, holding a successful games carries a promise of burnishing the legitimacy of the government of the day. There is one important word we have got for the first time. Burnishing means what? Enhance or perfect something such as a reputation or a skill. Imagine a particular country hosts the Olympics, then it is like a successful game. Then it is like carries a promise of burnishing the legitimacy of the government of the day. A particular government is ruling and it enhances the image or the reputation of that particular government that is in power. The games within China have certainly taken on particular political significance domestically. Now it talks about a different thing altogether. The games, I'm also, even I was surprised, I was taken aback when I saw for host nations holding a successful games. This is a bit strange. This article is not required here because the noun is in the plural form. Holding a successful games, before plural nouns we don't use any article, indefinite article. We can use a definite article. Grammatically this is disturbing. The games within China have certainly taken on particular political significance domestically in the context of the country's battle against COVID-19. It talks about a different dimension altogether. Last month, President Xi Jinping noted that the 2022 Olympics would be the first international multi sport event to be held as scheduled since the outbreak of the COVID 19 pandemic. We all know the Olympics got postponed twice or thrice, and here the President Xi Jinping noted that the 2022 Olympics would be Winter Olympics, the first international multi sport event to be held as scheduled without postponing since the outbreak of the COVID 19 pandemic. Outbreak, usually there is a phrasal verb, break out, outbreak, both mean the same. To start suddenly, and it goes with legitimacy means a legally right. Outbreak means suddenly start. It goes with war, diseases, fire, clashes, all these things. The underlying message, underlying another important word, fundamental or basic, and also hidden in a way, the foundation of something. The underlying message is that the successful holding of the games amid the pandemic is another example of the superiority of the Chinese political model, which has been highlighted as a sharp contrast, especially with how the US handled the pandemic. Now, it is something related to the US and China. China wanted to project the image that it could handle the pandemic successfully. On the contrast, on the other hand, the US could not do the same thing. Last year, now it comes back to the actual topic. Last year, the International Olympic Association added the word together to the official Olympic motto of faster, higher, stronger. There is one important word, motto, a short sentence or phrase chosen as encapsulating the beliefs or ideals or the spirit of an individual, family, or institution. The spirit behind conducting the Olympics, motto, the motto behind. Traditionally three words, faster, higher, stronger. Now the fourth word has been added, it was added last year. What is that? Together. If that is certainly a laudable aspiration, laudable, another important word, deserving praise and commendation, it is clear that as far as the Olympics are concerned, the politics is never far away. That means they have been politicized throughout, if you look at the history already mentioned. That will certainly be the case in Beijing as the latest games, both on and off the ski slopes, begin. On the ski slopes, off the ski slopes, they begin and they are going to be already politicized. It is in a way inevitable. This is all about the editorial. And one thing you have to remember, before the Olympics, we have to use any sports event, we have to use a definite article the Olympics, the Wimbledon, the US Open, the World Cup. And that's an important point you have to remember, recollect, and remember. Exam point of view. Now, what are the questions based on this editorial? What is this editorial about? Why India did announce a diplomatic boycott of the games? Why did India would have been better, but emphatic? When did India join Russia in expressing support for the games? You have to mention the time or month. For host nations, what does holding successful games carry? What does it carry? Holding games. If you take, see, winter games usually they are taken. If you take Alps, there's one word Alps. Alps means what? Snow capped mountains. When it comes to snow capped mountains or areas full of snow, There are certain sports which are very popular. One of them, skiing. It is also known as ice skating. Skiing, ice skating, and one more, not exactly one and the same, but ski means it's a sport. Skiing, a sport, and they use ski boards, long boards, and they hold two, they look like sticks, they are made of metal, and they try to move on the snow. That is known as skiing. It's a very popular winter sport in the Western Europe as well as other countries. So, off the ski, on the ski. It talks about that. When did India join Russia in expressing support for the games? For host nations, what does holding successful games carry? Which word was added by IOA last year? Easy to answer. Now let us go to questions, practice questions based on exam topics. And today, for the first time, I have brought Cloze Test. Initially, I am going to talk about why, what is this Cloze Test, why is it important, what do they test, how to handle Cloze Test. That a few tips that will be useful. But let us start with error location questions. Read the first one and try to spot the error. The number of students competing in the government funded event has been fallen because of the low prize money. Yes, all ITIs impart vocational training. That is right. Unfortunately, in our country, vocational courses are not very popular, but in some countries, they're very popular. Where is the error? No, no, low price, nothing wrong. Here, the sentence, it doesn't have to be in passive voice, it has to be in active voice. This question is based on the grammar topic voice. The number, I think you got yesterday or day before yesterday. The number, the phrase the number always takes a singular verb, and a number takes a plural verb. The number of students competing in the government funded event, the number has nothing wrong here, but you don't have to use the sentence in passive voice. The sentence has to be in active voice. Based on that, you have to strike off the word been. The number has fallen. Why? Because of the low price money. Nothing wrong with low price money. Here we have to use active voice. We don't have to use passive voice. It is a question based on active voice and passive voice. And the subject does action. It talks about the subject. The subject is not the receiver. Then you don't have to use passive voice. Today the questions are rather easy. You should get all the five correct. While she used to walk along the road, a wild and ferocious cat knocked her down. While she used to walk, first you have to know the meaning of, please don't use a V1, V2, V3. Try to use present form, past form, and past participle form, at least in my session. Here, used to, the helping verb used to, and also would. These two are used to express past habitual actions. Past habitual actions. Here it is not about past habitual action because it talks about a wild and ferocious, ready to attack cat knocked her down. Something happened. What happened? A wild and ferocious cat knocked her down. This is past tense. That time something was going on. For that we should use past continuous, past continuous tense. We cannot use used to or would. So where is the error? The very first part there is an error. While she used to walk is not correct. While she was walking. While she was walking, Along the road, a wild and ferocious cat knocked her down. It is a combination of past continuous tense plus past tense, and this is the first use of past continuous tense. Now let us go to question number 3. Anya is even willing to make Mexico one of the first countries to introduce a universal basic income. Easy one, not at all difficult. You should be able to answer within no time. Anaya, perhaps it's a Mexican name, or Anaya. Names we cannot be quite sure. We have to know. Based on the spelling, we cannot, because it's not an Indian name. An easy one, I'm sure you guys, everyone can answer. But don't take it for granted. Sometimes you do have exceptions. Don't blindly go with to means we have to use a basic form. Read the sentence, understand the context, then you decide whether you have to use the infinitive form with to or not. With to. Ania even Ania, I suppose, Ania is even willing to make Mexico one of the first countries to introduce a universal basic income. This goes with the context to introduce, but read the sentence, understand the context, only then you decide whether you can consider or not. There were no surprises in the first bi-monthly monetary policy announcement by the RBI. This is also an easy one, but do remember all these are from previous year's questions. Many of these, on and off, I bring questions from previous year's papers to provide the insight how they ask the questions, what are the standards, and where exactly you stand, all these things. They were, excuse me, there were no surprises in the first bi-monthly monetary policy announcement by the RBI. Easy one, should not be that difficult. Yes, announcement is not correct. It should be announced by the RBI. This is also an easy one. There were no surprises in the first bi-monthly monetary policy announced by the RBI. It is a question related to word forms, right word, wrong form. We have to use a verb form, they have used a noun form. This is a little difficult in the sense you got to read carefully, meticulously. The battery operated scooter equipped on lithium ion batteries that provide it with a longer life as compared to the convention anion is a good alternative. First reading, it may be difficult, but one word is enough to catch. Very good. Who is this? Balu Naik, first one. After that, Srinivas. The battery operated scooter, nothing wrong. Equipped on, then you don't have to go beyond, save your time. The verb equipped takes a preposition with. This is a question based on prepositional combination. If you know the combination, an easy question. If you're not aware of the combination, a difficult one. Today, you must have got all the 5 correct error location. Even the phrase replacement questions are very easy. You should get all the 5 correct. The wholesale price index have remained negative for the last 11 months before it broke the trend and surged. Surge means sudden forward movement, one meaning, and increase, sudden increase, another meaning. 4 is also good. All the 5, very good. 4 out of 5, you should be happy. Prithvi Raja. In my opinion, these are easy questions, though they are from the previous year's papers. So Here, what is the subject of the sentence? The wholesale price index, singular. We cannot use a plural verb. Had remained negative. Hold this one. Before it broke the trend and surged. Seems right. Remains negative, ruled out. Would have remained not correct. You have to decide between the first one and the fourth one. It cannot be the fourth one because it talks about there's a conjunction. This is a clue for you. Before the conjunction before, if the sentence talks about two actions that happen one after the other, for the first action we should use past perfect. Based on that, here we cannot use present perfect. Answer is the first option. Not has, it should be had remained negative. What is the reason? First action, second action. First action we should use past perfect. Second action, past tense. Before it broke the trend and surged. And the clue for you, the conjunction would have no already over. Why should we talk about a condition? Raghu. This talks about something that happened in the past. Then we cannot use would have. It is not a conditional. It talks about a fact that happened in the past. And two actions. First one we have to use past perfect. Second one past tense. No one knew what he had been up to all this while. This is also a little tricky. You got to be careful. Went up to, ruled out. Was out into, does not make any sense. What had been to, what had got to do. What is the answer? Ah, yes, that is right. Who is this, Ramesh? You have come up with an example. That's really good. I appreciate. The train had left before we reached the station. That means you were late. Answer, no correction required. Why no correction? Here the verb is in the past. Then here we should use past perfect. It talks about a particular state in the past. He had been up to all this while. Very good. They had been waking all night. That does not make any sense whatsoever. Waking all night, outing all night, in a night out. They had been wake up. I don't know how you're going to decide, but all these not at all acceptable grammatically, contextually. They had been awake all night for the semester exams and will not wake up till the afternoon. Answer is the fourth option. Very good. They had been awake means what? They did not sleep. They did not sleep. She has been suffering from Alzheimer's disease since last year. This is also a good question based on grammar knowledge, but not at all difficult. Has been suffering. It is an easy question in the sense whenever you see since and for, you have to, when you come across these two prepositions, you have to think of two tenses, one present perfect, the other one present perfect continuous. Here she has been suffering since last year. Absolutely no problem. No correction required. You don't have to. This you have to answer without any hesitation. You got to be very confident. Yes, obviously, stay awake means burn the midnight oil. Very good. Who is that? Karan. Oh, who is that? No, no. Someone has used the idiom. Madhav. Yes, Madhav, you're right. Very good. Nothing to worry. Who is this Karan? Spend more time, attend these sessions, try to master grammar rules. You can get 20 plus out of 30. That should not be a problem. Throughout his tenure, The principle is ensuring. Based on the context, you have to say. I don't understand. I could not understand talks about inability. I don't understand what you say talks about a particular situation, a fact. Meaning is different, completely different. And I could not understand goes into past. He said something, I could not understand that. Now you're saying something, I don't understand what you say. Both are entirely different. He is ensuring or ensured. You cannot use during throughout his tenure and remain free from any kind of disruptive politics. You cannot use present continuous over here. Has ensuring grammatically wrong. Have ensured grammatically wrong. Is ensuring or is ensuring. Ensuring again not correct. Ensured, made sure that the college campus remained free from any kind of disruptive politics. Now don't answer. I have brought close test for the first time. What is this close test? Please listen for 2 or 3 minutes, then look at the options and try to answer. Close test, it is very popular today also in the US and in the UK. You may wonder, you may ask, so how come it is popular and they are all good at English? It is their mother tongue. English has about 8 lakh words, and of these, 5 lakh words are general, 3 lakh words are technical. But the problem when it comes to English, English is known as it has two tags. One, it is a most polite language, one tag. The other one, English is a combinational language. There are millions of combinations, millions in fact, and not easy to learn all the combinations. You cannot mug up, you cannot learn in isolation. You have to learn from a context. Because of that close test, today also it is very popular in the US, in the UK. It is given so that the students pick up the right combinations. They develop awareness about the word combinations. And when it comes to any exam topic, you have to ask the question, what is tested? Close test, when they give the close test, what do they try to test? What do they expect from you? There are 3 or 4 things. The first one, the knowledge related to lexical terms. Lexical terms means related words. Related to the topic, certain words are basic. You should have that knowledge. Second one, the most important thing, knowledge related to word combinations or collocations, a technical term. Third one, grammar knowledge. You have to use your grammar knowledge on and off when it comes to close test. But the most important thing, close test, they test to what extent you understand the context. Contextual awareness is very important to answer the questions or to fill the blanks with appropriate words. Word combinations, lexical terms, contextual awareness, very important. If you are good at these three, you can get 10, 5, 10, easy to answer. Then you may ask, so how do we become good at all these? You have to read regularly the Hindu paper, then definitely you can answer effortlessly. Now read uh, here you see part of the passage. There are about 5 slides, more than 5 in fact. So try to read the first one and answer. Many shops are to survive in Britain's fast changing and ruthlessly competitive marketplace. Ruthless without any mercy. So here, struggling, you can consider languishing, you can consider retreating, not relevant, surrendering, not relevant, idling, idle. Don't idle away your time. Means what? Don't waste your time. Not relevant. Here, languish means to suffer for a long time being in a particular state, usually that is negative. Here it does not talk about that. When it comes to it is business context, struggling to survive is a standard expression. This is what I say, you have to know the standard phrases, then it becomes easy. Answer is the first option, very good. Struggling to survive is a standard phrase. If you see the number in red, that is a blank and you have to choose the appropriate word. Many shops are struggling to survive in Britain's fast changing and ruthlessly competitive marketplace. No, it depends on the context. How can you say editor is using past perfect sometimes? Depends on the context, Chandu. I have already given the function of past perfect where it is used. Accordingly, the editor uses. The fear of Brexit has probably dampened means to bring down the spirit, discourage, consumer, consumer what? Investment, no. Payment, no. Credit, no. Savings, no. Consumer spending, again a typical combination, word combination. Consumer spending. Answer is the second option. Very good. Now go to the third blank. The nimble ones. Nimble ones. What does it mean? So this trend will survive. Has anyone answered? Very good. Nimble ones. Nimble means quick, agile. Agile. Remember, that's an important word. Agile. The nimble ones who adapt to this trend will survive. Answer is the third option. Very good. So far, so good. I am looking at the time factor, how long it's going to take. Based on that, I can decide whether to bring regularly or not. One profound change, profound knowledge, deep. One profound change is that Britain's consumers now want to spend their money on services rather than products. Hence, the different fortunes of the restaurant and retail businesses. Figures show a strong rise in spending. A strong rise in spending. This is also an easy one. Yes, spending takes a preposition on, spending on something, spending on recreation and culture in the first 9 months of the last year. Online shopping is also transforming the high street. Full stop. Please remember, cloze test to a great extent depends on contextual awareness and word combinations. Very important. Spending on. What do you spend your money on? Obviously, that is important. Combination. What is the right word for the fifth one? Online shopping is also transforming the high street. Full stop. 5, 4. No, no. 4 is not correct. There is a clue in the sentence itself. Here there is a word, omni-channel retailing. Retailing goes with retailers, obviously. Who is this? Dontu has got it right. After that, Raghu also. Here, retailers now expect omni-channel retailing, consisting of different things or many things, to be able to switch seamlessly. Let us see. Here we have to read. I think it should be. No, 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 not retailers. What is the reason? It should be shopkeepers ruled out, analysts ruled out, wholesalers ruled out, consumers. Consumers now expect omni-channel retailing to be able to switch seamlessly. Here, purchasing on their laptops, purchasing goes with consumers, not with retailers, mobiles, and in brick and mortar stores. Here, consumers now expect omni channel retailing to be able to switch seamlessly. Sir, how to write letter and essay have on Feb's 6th Feb. On this platform, I cannot tell. It takes a lot of time, and not today. Today it is ruled out. I'll try to squeeze in some time. I have already done one video. You can go to the playlist and do's and don'ts when it comes to descriptive English. Please watch that video. You will be able to learn a few, get a few tips. And tomorrow I'll allot some time. Here, their laptops, mobiles, and that is one group in brick and mortar stores, another group. It should be between, not among. The reason being, here we have two groups laptops, mobiles, one, and brick and mortar means traditional stores, traditional retail stores, another. It should be. Same channel, this channel, Murthy's channel, you can go to the playlist or you can go through the videos. There's a particular video that deals with descriptive English. Please watch that. That is very useful. Between purchasing on their laptops, mobiles, and in brick and mortar stores. Retailers that are slow to. What is the right word? Next one. Retailers that are slow to a good online offering will struggle. This talks about retailers. Excuse me. Yes, not relevant. Forbid means what? Prohibit. It does not go with the context. Retrogress, going back. Procure, acquire. No, develop. Retailers that are slow to develop a good online offering will struggle. Exactly, that's right. Traditional retail store, we use brick and mortar model. Britain's struggling supermarkets such as Tesco have done reasonably well online, but now face a new, obviously, business context. It has to be a threat, a challenge. Before you see the options, you have to think of these words. But now face a new encouragement, collaboration, investment, acceptance. All these words don't go with the context. Only one word goes with the context. A particular company has been doing well, but now it has got a challenge. But now face a new challenge from Amazon Fresh, a potentially dangerous rival, which was which was before you see the options, you have to think of a particular word. What is that? Launched, which was sparked, initiated, fired, came, collapsed. You don't have to wait for the options. Before you go to the options, you should think of the word that was launched last month. The last one. The initial rollout of the online Jane's fresh food services will be to parts of London, will be what? If you guys become good at passage, para Jumble and Cloze Test. Selection is inevitable. All the three depend on reading comprehension skill. And many candidates are not good at these, they're good at grammar. But besides grammar, you master these three topics, you master reading comprehension skill, nothing like that. You will get out of 30, 25 plus, out of 40, 35 plus easily. Confined is the right word. Confined means what? Restricted. These are not, all these are not relevant. Initially, not completely spread out, restricted to parts of London. For the word restricted, we use confined. No, 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 no. Confined is the right word. Now let us, we have only 4 minutes. Try to answer quickly. Editorial vocabulary. Stand off. What does it mean? A deadlock. Please answer quickly. Calculus. Let us see. It has taken almost, I started at 8:45, close test. Now it is 8:56. It took almost 10 minutes. I have already done it. Other options, if I have to explain each option, I have to spend 1.5 hours. Not practically possible. Important words, I give the meanings. Every word we cannot. What is the reason? There are 10 blanks, 10 into for each option. For each blank, how many options? 5. 10 into 5. I have to explain the meanings of 50 words. All the words not possible. Important words, definitely I have already done that. I will do that. Important words, I will explain, not only from the options, from the passage. So, what is the answer for the second one? A particular method of reasoning or calculation, allies, a state formally declaring support. Answer is H. Vocational relating to an occupation, denounce publicly declared to be wrong, albeit means though, sorry, B. Burnishing, enhance or perfect one's reputation, name, all that. Outbreak, sudden occurrence of war, disease, fire, underlying, fundamental or basic. Laudable, deserving praise. Many of these words are useful. And today's schedule, 8 a.m., we have just done. 10 a.m., I'm starting. Today, I'm launching a new course, SSC, CHSL, and CGL complete course. It is for 4 months, 120 hours, tier 1 and tier 2, exhaustive, complete course. And 11:45, CHSL and CGL practice batch. Unacademy platform, if you want to enroll, Murthy 10 referral code. And all of you listen very carefully. Someone has been asking, sir, 200 grammar rules. 6 p.m. special free class orientation, SSC exams. This is also useful. And 7:30 p.m. special free class, 200 grammar rules. I'm going to start today, and all the rules will be covered. Very useful. You have to use download Unacademy Learner app. Look for Venkata Korlapati, my profile, and use referral code Murthy10. Go to SSC non-technical stream. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till almost 9. Have a nice day. Do remember to subscribe and share, and join the Telegram group. You go after the session, you go to the description of the video, and the link is provided. Click on that. I'll provide the PDF